Urethane adhesive caulkings came onto the market in the early 1970s. They work especially well as a caulking adhesive when joining wood together. Wood is a porous material that always contains some moisture. Urethane caulkings cure with water vapor, moisture. They also expand while curing, working themselves into the pores of the wood. Once you have stuck two pieces of wood together with this stuff, it is almost impossible to get it apart without doing some serious damage to the wood. If you need to get something apart that has been glued in with 5200, heat is the answer. At a little over 200 degrees, 5200 goes back into being a liquid and will not reconstitute itself. For this reason, it should never be used around exhaust flanges or anywhere where the fitting might get hot. To get two pieces of wood apart, we use wedges and then cut it with a hot putty knife. To get fittings out, gently heat them with a propane torch and then turn them with a wrench until they give up. You should wear a good quality charcoal respirator during these operations. One of the little tricks in engineering a seam that won't leak is to mill a cove in both sides of the joint. I ran across this idea when I was repairing a Norseman sport fisher. I had to repair a large hole in the bow. The boat had been planked with eastern white cedar, a very soft wood. A cove had been milled down the edge of all the planking. The cove was then filled with the urethane caulking during assembly. This made for a pressurized O-ring down the middle of every seam. I replanked the hole in the bow using the same technique. During the repair, the boat dried out and the seams opened up badly. There was now a 1/4 inch gap down every seam. But to my great surprise, when we launched the boat, it didn't leak a drop. I was badly chastised. "Hey Wayne, what are we supposed to do with these pumps we rented?" I was so impressed with this clever technique that I started incorporating it in almost every aspect of boat building. Here is why this works so well. 3M claims that cured 5200 will stretch 300%. Okay, so maybe that's a stretch. The point being that there must be some material thickness in order for the urethane caulkings to do their job. If there's only a 1/16 of an inch of material and the seam moves a 1/4, it will leak. But if there's a 1/2 inch of material and the seam opens up 1/4, it's no problem at all. Also, because of the cove, the urethane caulking has more surface area to adhere to. While we're on the subject of bonding, urethane caulkings stick best to bare wood. You don't need to and shouldn't use primers or sealers. If you don't want it to stick, you can seal it and then coat it with a little bit of mold release wax. We oftentimes do this when we put down hatches and skylights, so that if we need to take them back up, we can get them up easily. We also do this to facilitate cleanup. We have found that it is better to let the caulking fully cure and then cut it and peel it away. The urethanes don't hold up very well in the sun. When I do decks, I use the 5200 in the bottom of the seam and then protect it with the deck seam compound. Installing through hulls is one of the best uses for polyurethane sealants, no matter what your hull material is. The manufacturers of through-hull fittings have stepped up to the plate here and incorporated grooves and indents to accommodate the polyurethane caulkings. The things to remember when installing through hulls with polyurethane caulkings is to leave room for the caulking. The hole should be about 1/8 of an inch bigger than the through hull fitting, so that there is room clear around it for the caulking. Apply a liberal amount during installation and don't over-tighten the fittings. The more caulking you have in the joints, the better job it does of sealing the water out. 5200 takes 5 to 7 days to fully cure, less time in hot humid weather, and sometimes longer in dry cold weather. Be sure that the urethane is completely cured before submerging it or removing clamps. There are other urethanes that have a shorter cure time. However, their working time is also reduced. We have other videos on how to install through holes, all the different ways we use urethane caulkings to outsmart the creepy water stuff, and application techniques so that you don't get it all over you and everything else. Some of these videos are available through YouTube, so don't forget to hit the subscribe button. If you would like to see more, please visit us at our Vimeo OTT channel, MPT TV. Here you can find a very extensive, constantly growing video library on all facets of classic boating, all organized in one place without ads. We'll see you there.